I would describe myself as someone that has liked the Star Wars universe. I watched the films, I read some of the books, and I played the games. It's with that said that I looked forward to Jedi Fallen Order, but it was never really my most anticipated title this year. That's surprising to say because after rolling the credits on Jedi Fallen Order, not only do I think it's an easy contender for Game of the Year, I think it got me to love Star Wars. Taking place after the events of Order 66, the Empire's Purge of the Jedi, we play as Cal, a Jedi in hiding who, for the first half of his life, spent his day as a Padawan training under his master, only to spend the second half of his life hiding in the shadows of the Empire. It's a world in chaos and despair as the universe falls under the iron fist of the Emperor. While I didn't immediately fall in love with Cal's character, his character arc did eventually win me over. As I learned more about who he was before Order 66, and how those details helped shape the character we play as now, the more I grew fond of him. However, the real stars of the campaign come from the variety of supporting characters that carry their weight throughout the story, making me truly care about them. It's a Resistance story whose pace flows smoothly, dripping new bits of lore and details throughout every mission, even pushing me to spend more time exploring the universe throughout its many side objectives. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a jack of all trades but a master of none. If you're a veteran gamer over the last decade, you'll recognize the different bits of other popular franchises. The action platforming of Uncharted, the combat of Dark Souls, and the exploration of Metroid. While it doesn't really master any one of these factors, it does recreate them exceptionally to feel like a solid remix between all three. While you can't take the linear approach to Fallen Order in the sense of going from main objective to main objective, it's really a game that's easy to get lost in for all its other objectives. Gameplay takes the approach of going from planet to planet as you take on story missions. On these planets, the environments act like a dungeon of sorts, complete with the main mission, side objectives, and plenty of secrets to uncover. As much of a meme as it is to compare things to Dark Souls, Jedi Fallen Order's combat truly mimics Dark Souls. Like a Jedi Master, this isn't a hack and slash fight, but one thinking out your moves wisely. Like a fight between a Sith and a Jedi, you're not just blindly swinging, but choosing when to strike, when to dodge, and when to parry. It's nothing new in terms of gameplay combat, but it at least copies a system that pretty much nailed the genre. Applying it to Star Wars, it works fantastically. Enemies glow red when launching an unblockable attack and offer audible alerts when prepping an attack animation that you can parry. You are a Jedi after all though, so while you do have a lightsaber, you also have the Force in combat. As a Jedi that seemingly lost connection with the Force while in hiding, Cal slowly recovers his Jedi training as he continues on his mission to become part of the Resistance. Defeating enemies earns you XP that you can then redeem at meditation spots to unlock new Force powers. These powers are listed on the skill tree that offer an easy to follow path. The meditation spots also act as a checkpoint for dungeons where you can heal yourself, use your skill points, and save the game. These all come at the cost of respawning all the enemies in your area as well. As I unlock new powers and abilities, the combat continued to evolve while sticking to its basic Souls-like foundation. It was fun and challenging, especially if you choose to go with one of the more difficult settings. These can luckily be changed on the fly though if you ever find yourself stuck on a fight. Exploration is constructed like a third-person Metroid Prime game with platforming right from Uncharted. It's a beautiful mix that had me exploring the deepest parts of planets to solve puzzles, unlock new powers, and backtracking like any other Metroidvania. The mix of puzzle solving and cinematic platforming mesh together wonderfully. Some of these puzzles are designed similarly to something out of Breath of the Wild's puzzles, only more challenging. Part of the encouragement to keep on exploring, even beyond the main objective, were the unlockable customization options. Being able to create my own lightsaber, customize Cal's outfit, and even his adorable little droid and ship, there's just so much to customize here that I never really expected to care about as a casual Star Wars fan. I found myself wanting to spend time on my lightsaber, and that only further got me to explore every corner that could be hiding another treasure chest. While I did love my time with Jedi Fallen Order, it wasn't a flawless experience. Hitboxes for platforming could be vastly improved. There were moments where I'd reach for a rope only to completely miss it. Sliding down mud or ice feels uncontrollable and at points frustrating when the game asks you to swerve into a certain direction, but then fights you when you do it. Checkpoints also felt somewhat unforgiving with them being so far apart. This meant that if I die against an enemy or a boss, I'd be sent back to the last meditation spot, usually meaning I'd have to backtrack a large section before fighting that enemy that killed me. Luckily, if you die while platforming, it's an instant respawn at that area, and hitting an enemy that killed you instantly recovers your lost XP and health too. This list of complaints build up and help keep this game from truly being the masterpiece it could have been. Playing through its 20-ish hour campaign was a blast, and I could have easily spent more hours backtracking the dungeons. However, the lack of polish peeks its head constantly, and while it didn't keep me from loving this game, it did keep me from giving it a 10 that it could have easily been. Star Wars has never had trouble in building its world both in terms of writing and its visuals. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order captures that magic of Star Wars by perfectly recreating the universe visually, from the barren caves and ancient ruins to the Empire's ship's interiors. Jedi Fallen Order looks fantastic. Character models perfectly encapsulate the actors' expressions and performances. What really caught my eye was the environmental design on these planets. Some of these areas just have little to no civilization around them, but gosh are they stunning. The way the sun's rays peek into the smallest of crevices, or how my lightsaber illuminates the dark abyss I'm exploring. The reflection of water as it reacts to me walking through it. It's all easy to get lost in. Performance-wise, Jedi Fallen Order is certainly a demanding game on console, showing that if you're still on a base console, it might be time for an upgrade. On console, Jedi Fallen Order runs at 720p on Xbox One and 900p on PS4. That's bumped up to 1440p on PS4 Pro and native 4K on the One X. The base consoles target 30 frames per second, but can frequently drop down to the low to mid 20s during the heavier combat sections. On the higher end consoles, you can choose between playing at a higher resolution at 30 FPS or playing at 1080p with the 60 FPS target. The 60 FPS target is hardly ever met on either Pro or Xbox One X, with them usually hovering around 45 to 50 frames per second instead. The PC port certainly feels like the best way to go with this one. With my GTX 1070 and i7 4790K, I was able to maintain a solid 1080p 60 throughout my playthrough on max settings. If there's anything Star Wars has always excelled at in the video game market, it's in its sound design. It was amazing in the previous Battlefront games and it continues to amaze in Jedi Fallen Order. The attention to detail here is immaculate. Walking through the many planets that encompass the Star Wars universe, Jedi Fallen Order knows when to use its music wisely. As I made my way through the environment for the first time, I was left to the sounds of nature. My steps on the mud as I leaped from cliff to cliff, and the screeches of furious aliens inhabiting the planet. As I made my way into combat, the hum of my lightsaber would sneak its way into the orchestra, delivering the cherry on top of it all. What's surprising, and frankly I never expect anyone to catch it, but the sounds of the lightsabers even change between the different colors too. It's that level of detail that best describes the love and effort put into this game's sound design. When the music does finally come in, it's used in clever ways to guide you towards the objectives, and building up the anticipation of a fight against the Empire or a deadly alien. While John Williams didn't work on this game's soundtrack, you can hear his inspirations throughout Fallen Order. Equally as impressive is the voice work here. Deborah Wilson and Cameron Monaghan absolutely steal the show as Cal and Seer. Both being new to the Star Wars series didn't take too long to win me over, and get me invested enough to hope that this isn't the last I see of them. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order isn't a masterpiece, and that's a tragedy for me to say because boy do I love this game. It's an easy contender for Game of the Year for me, remixing so many fantastic series into one package. The platforming of Uncharted, the combat of Dark Souls, and the exploration of Metroid Prime, all within the lore and charm of Star Wars. It's almost my perfect Star Wars game. Technical issues and game design hiccups keep it from being that dream game, but playing as Cal, making him my own personification of a Jedi as I experienced his story, was easily one of my favorite gaming adventures this year.